Sinners. Oh my gosh. As a filmmaker, as someone who wants to do more film, create movies constantly, and is constantly writing, it's an amazing piece of art. It's so amazing. And so I was like, let me give my review like everybody else. And I was going to start posting on here anyway. So I was like, I might as well do a Sinners review. I've seen it 3 times. I've seen Sinners 3 times. And last night I saw it in IMAX. The second time I saw it, I took notes. I took notes because an original movie doing what Sinners is doing, created by a black man, telling very specific black cultural stories, it's my thing. Like, Ryan Coogler, of course, I want to work with Ryan Coogler one day, but that is, first of all, just kudos to fucking Ryan Coogler for crafting a deal where he gets his movie back in 25 years. That's the Black King right there. All right, let's get into my review. So, I'm not a horror person, so when I initially saw the trailer, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like that. I knew I was gonna go see it, because I go see anything made by black people. Even if I don't go to the movies, I'll buy a ticket, just because I know that it means something. But I was a little like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Because I was just, I was like, I don't know. But the opening part of Sinners, where Preacher Boy comes into the church and his dad is preaching. First of all, Sinners is some funny moments in Sinners, because the way his mama yelled out, Sammy! And then he was like, but when he comes in and they're doing the parallel of the Irish vampire and the preacher, what a juxtaposition, right? What a statement to at the beginning of the movie, to compare the blood-sucking vampire who wants to take your gift to your dad, who is telling you that this immaculate gift you got, you're not supposed to use it. Right? So the scenes flashing when he's walking in the church and his dad is talking to him, and it's showing Remick, Chef's Kiss. People always tell me I'm too deep, but I love movies like this that, right? Because the thing about this movie and how Ryan did it is so brilliant, is because this story about race is involved in it, but it's really just about the taking, people taking from you, people not allowing you to be free, whether that's capitalism, whether that's racism, whether that's sexism. And so for Ryan to add vampires and horror in it, to make it not so deep, not so like, oh, I'm in here thinking, because we know how people hate to think these days, but to give it that element of horror with history, with incredible nuance to specific Southern black culture, he is the one, you know. He's my Quentin Tarantino. Like, yeah. So we see that scene, and then we meet the twins, which I want to say, any conversations y'all were having about Michael B. Jordan's acting, he could put it in. He said, let me learn y'all something, because the way he played these characters, also, it's been such a journey and a joy to watch Michael B. Jordan. I watched The Wire, so to watch Michael B. Jordan from Wallace to now, he has a great career, and he really, you could tell, he really, like, he has arrived. He's been arrived, right? He's been arrived, but I'm talking about as an actor, as a thespian. Michael B. Jordan said, Michael Ben Jordan, put some respect on my name. Y'all better stop playing with Michael B. Jordan. But another part that I liked in the movie was when they both pulled up and we see Stack and Smoke. And right off the bat, you see the difference between Stack and Smoke. Smoke does not smile. He's no nonsense. He don't play no games. Stack almost has like a childlike naivete. Even in the car, when Stack was a preacher boy and he said, no, Smoke killed him. My daddy used to beat me, but he didn't mean it. That little piece, and maybe for me as a writer, delved so much more into Stack and how he thinks And also why he was doing the little thing when the Irishmen were at the door, the vampires were at the door doing the dance, is because I'm just, as a writer, as a creative, I'm putting it in my mind and my analysis. I think that what Ryan wanted to do was show how Stack is the little brother in that sense. Like Smoke is on guard. He looking. He paying attention to everything. Whereas Stack is like, let's have fun. Let's dance. Let's, you know what I'm saying? So I love that when we first see them meeting the Hogwood. Also, there's so many little tidbits when he says, you know, the Klan don't exist no more. It's reminiscent of people saying racism is dead. You ain't got nothing to worry about. And it's like, all right, please. Some of the most beautiful parts in this movie were the car scenes. First of all, Delroy Lindo has literally raised me. Delroy Lindo has been in my life. Delroy Lindo has been in my life. Crooklyn. You want to, like, he has, from Malcolm X to Crooklyn, I have watched every Delroy Lindo movie. Like, Ryan went and got the best of the best. Like, the cream of the crop. Seriously. But the car scenes in this movie, and how black people have used music and art to showcase our pain. Because black pain is very unique. Black pain on American soil is very, very unique. And Ryan showcased that uniqueness in that movie. And so when Slim is in the car and he's telling Preacher Boy, yeah, I know them. And when you talk about vagrancy, when that, after, you know, the Emancipation Proclamation and they put into these black codes and, oh, slavery by another name. When you talk about vagrancy, that's just being in any place. Like, oh, you're not supposed to be over here, now we put you in jail and make you work these fields. More free labor, more slavery. So as he's telling the story, and then he goes and he can't even conceptualize the pain, and then he goes into like this deep hum, and in the hum you can feel the pain. And it's like how intricately, look at my words, intricately pain and music go together, and black pain and the blues and all of it. Even when you branch out into genres of R&B and love songs, like, black people have made their art a showcase of our pain, and it's really, really beautiful when you think about it. So the car scene, masterful. And then I've watched every single behind the scenes interview of Michael, the cast, Ryan, I've literally watched everything. Winomi, you amazed me in Lovecraft Country. Lovecraft Country is one of my favorite shows as a writer, as a filmmaker. It's certain shows I watch every year. Lovecraft Country is one. When I seen that she would be in it, I loved it, because having full-figured, dark-skinned women in movies matters. But her performance, what Annie represents to the plot of Sinners as a black woman, as the knowing, like I wrote in my notes, Annie is the knowing. And for so much of black culture and black America, black women are the knowing. They're the women, whether it's your grandma, your sister, your mama, your girlfriend, your wife. They're the people that are telling you, hey, you shouldn't do that. Hey, that's not your friend. Hey, he don't want the best for you. Hey, he's stealing from you. Hey, all of these little things. And I love the introduction of hoodoo, because I feel like Ryan introduced it so gently to a generation of black people who have been told since we got here that these African religions and traditions are demonic and evil, right? And that has always bothered me. And I grew up believing that, because I grew up and I was taught that these things are sage, crystals, hoodoo, all of it is of the devil, and you should not partake in it. So I loved how Ryan introduced it, and that hoodoo is connected with God, right? And that no religion, or like respecting other people's cultures and customs. And I feel like this was a movie for black people, and I loved how he introduced that gently, so that maybe people can pick up a book, do some research, learn about these religions that have been here thousands of years, these African spiritualities, and not just call them evil, because that's what colonizers told us when they took us, right? And this isn't to say, like, you know what I'm saying? So I love how he introduced it so gently to not push it in people's face, like, yeah, need to, but like, let's talk about what Annie, like, let's bring this in. So we see Annie and Smoke. As a filmmaker, I'm always going back and forth, and one of my really good friends that I work with, she is getting her intimacy certification, and I always go back and forth with, somebody, this guy I follow on TikTok, real great guy, I think his name is AG or whatever, he was saying, do we need to like have the sex scenes in film and TV? Like, is that necessary? And I thought about it as, how we're going in the world. Is it necessary, to have, like, to see the sex scene, you know what I'm saying? Like, to see it. And what Ryan did with this movie that I really, really loved is, like, he portrayed intimacy through words, because intimacy is not just sex. It's like how Annie was speaking to him, how he was speaking to Annie. Even in the scene with Stack and Mary in the barn, how he was, like, the words that Ryan were writing were very intimate. So when Annie or Snack, when Annie and Smoke are in her house and she's doing her work, and the money that they were giving is plantation money, and it's white supremacy is so insidious, right? Because to set people free who you've beat, done all these terrible things to, and then to give them fake money that they can only spend in your establishment. So it's never, the money is never circulating back into black people's businesses. Like, well, black people don't have any businesses. So the money is never circulating. It's staying within the white community, and you are still a slave, essentially. You still work the plantation. You do not get real money. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much of that. So the child hands her this money, and Smoke is like, money is power, and that's not real money. And I've been all over this world. He does a beautiful dialogue of how he's been all over the world and how money is the power. And so many people feel like that. Like, when you're disconnected from your spirituality, when you're disconnected from your roots, or when you just lived a hard life, it's very hard for you to believe in something that you cannot see that is higher than yourself. And then in that instance where she tells him, how I have not prayed and worked every single day to keep you and your brother safe. And when you talk about the prayers of your mother, the prayers of your grandmother, whether that's a man or a woman, we're being prayed for by people we don't even know. Like, in our ancestors, in our lineage, like, there is protection for us that we don't even know. And I loved how, one of the things I got from the movie is that you're never alone. You feel what I'm saying? You're never alone. And I believe that Smoke did believe in it, right? Because he kept the mojo bag on. Like, if he didn't believe in it, he been gone 7 years, right? If he didn't believe in it, what is on my nose? If he didn't believe in it, he would have threw the mojo bag away. Like, what I need, I don't believe this. But he kept that mojo bag for 7 years, right? And it may not have been his belief in the mojo bag, more so his belief in Annie. And when I tell you their love story, how Ryan wrote it, ultimate intimacy, ultimately love story. And really, just like I said, like I was saying before, just the gentle introduction of respecting other people's religions, respecting other people's customs and culture. And we just see in that you could feel the love in the room. You could feel the power of the words that they were saying. And, like I said, intimacy written right is gonna hit every time. And every scene of intimacy in that movie was written in a way that made you feel like it was like a cute, light feeling. Like, even when she says to him, your body ain't forgive me, that was some of the sexiest shit. That scene with her and Michael, some of the sexiest shit I've seen. It was so sexy. I won't even acknowledge you weirdos who were like, oh, we thought that was her mama. Nothing about Annie and Smoke gave mama. Even when she first went out and he was visiting their child, even when she first went out there, nothing about even that interaction gave mama. Y'all are just not used to seeing dark skin, full figure women being desired, being placed at the forefront as a desired woman. And so in your mind, because you have a bias and you don't see dark skinned, full figure women as attractive, you said, oh, that gotta be his mama. Dumb, wrong. Fix yourselves. But yes, Smoke and Annie's relationship, and also deeper into it as somebody who, first of all, I want to say Ryan Coogler, if he ain't gonna do nothing with me, he's going to make me face my grief and heal it. And when I meet him and we talk as filmmakers, I'm going to let him know that the one thing from Black Panther, my brother passed away in 2022, from Black Panther coming out and that whole theme of siblings and brothers and grief, to now this movie coming out and the theme being siblings, grief, racism, sexism, taking, capital. It's so many themes in this movie, and I just really love how Ryan did that. But one of the biggest ones for me was Smoke was having a hard time because their child died. And when you've experienced grief on a level and you asked God for things, you prayed for things, and you've received some things, and then you didn't receive something. So when Annie said what spoke to my spirit, when he said why it didn't work on our baby, and Annie said, I don't know. When you are a believer, when you have faith, when you believe in God and spirit, it's like some things you just don't know. And you have to be okay walking this earth not knowing them. And I think for me, that conversation, it was beautiful because for me, it's the uncertainty of your belief. Sometimes in belief, it is uncertainty. I just know what I know, and I can't know more than what I know. So when he said why it didn't save our baby, and she was so vulnerable and honest, and she said, I don't know, but it saved you. And I remember being in the hospital with my brother the 8 days before he passed, and I have prayed to God for so many things. Like, I wanted to start making six figures. It happened. I wanted this. I wanted that. It happened. And I prayed for him to save my brother, and he didn't. And I don't know why that didn't work, but it didn't stop my belief. You feel what I'm saying? And so that part, like I said, if Ryan has not done anything for me in his career, what Ryan has done for me in his career, when people say like different things touch you, is help me through my grief and facing my grief as it pertains to relationships, you know? So, when Remick enters, right, I love how Remick kind of falls, like he enters chaotically, he falls, there's smoke coming off his back, because of course he's a vampire, the sun's out, he's running, and the crazy thing about it is, even though I don't position Remick as, I wouldn't say Remick is racist, but the idea of, what I will say is that Remick went to who he knew, and when they put the camera, they flash into the Klan suit. In Remick's mind, he's like, okay, I can get them with hate. They hate. So if I can, they'll let me in if I lean into their hate. Oh, those dirty engines. They took my wife. He did all that, and eventually, and of course the money, but he leaned into their bias. He leaned into their evil to get them to allow him to come in. Right? And Remick didn't, like, yeah, they were racist. Remick's plan it wasn't about black and white. It was about taking. It was about making something that is not yours. Taking people's, it was so much. So Remick enters, of course, they let him in with the promise of gold, dirty engines. He played on their emotions. He played on their hatred. So, of course, he gets in. So now Remick has him, he has what he has. Like a lot of people were saying, I would love to see the Choctaw story advance more. I would love to see that. One part, the Sinners did a great job of horror, comedy, of bridging horror, history, comedy, black culture, Irish culture. It did a great job. Christianity, African spirituality. It did a great job of putting all those things on top of each other. And Ryan Coogler, in those moments where he, like when Mary comes back and she's a vampire now, and she says, you can do this, but you can't steal this. I said, Ryan said, we not writing for Disney no more. Disney who? Disney where? Like, when she said that, I could have, the first time I told her, I said, was they talking like this in the 30s? But I'm sure they were, because I'm sure some of y'all have heard that nasty ass record of that old lady talking all that. Yeah. But yeah. Also, y'all really be spitting in each other's mouth? Y'all too freaked out for me. And I was saying, I don't know if this is true, I didn't do research, I just read the tweet, is that it wasn't CGI, it was syrup. So it was real. I'm an actor. I be wanting, listen, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know. Maybe for the right role. I don't know. So for me, like I just talked about, really, Ryan does this thing where he put the candy in the medicine, kind of like that. And what I got for it was when Remy came back and Bo and all of them, and he was saying, you know, yeah, they gave it to you now, but everything you have can be taken from you, right? And so he's playing, because Remy, he doesn't care if you're black or white. He just wants you to get what he wants, right? It's kind of like capitalism, right? Now that I'm talking about it. Remy don't give a fuck if you black or you white. He just wants what he wants, his mission, his goal, right? He don't care if you're black or white. So when he's giving that speech at the door, he's like, everything you have can be taken from you. They lie to you, they steal, they kill you. You're on their land, you're in their shit. They had already made a plan. They sold you this only to steal the money from you and then to come back and kill you. So what he's saying, you can see Smoke's brain is working like he ain't lying, but even and still, me going with you isn't freedom. And I feel like, just making the connection right now, a lot of times we feel like I have money, like when Smoke was in the shack with Annie, I have money. Money is power. Money is not power, because yeah, the Klan let you buy it, but they were coming back to murder y'all. So the movie deals with elements of, are we ever really free? As black people on American soil, are you ever really free? You know, it's the famous Kanye West, you still a nigga in a coop. Like, I can still take it from you. I can still take your livelihood from you. Like, we think about football players who are on these fields, they make millions of dollars. At any point, them teams can be like, I don't want them no more. At any point, even as just a regular working person in corporate America, at any point, your job can let you go. Now, what do you have? And I think that was such a core part of it. Like, what do you have? You don't have anything, really, but your fucking spirit. So you better take care of it, because you don't have anything else. And so I really love that speech that Remick gave at the door, because for me it symbolized that it's not just about racism. Racism works, you know, it all works together. Racism, capitalism, sexism, it all these are all systems that they work in conjunction with each other. But that speech really showed what Remick was about himself. Remick had watched his people get slaughtered, and so Remick said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna create a bunch of people for me so I can get back to, like, Remick didn't care about them. That was his plan for him. So even him giving that speech, while he was writing the speech, you want me to take off these shackles to put on your shackles. And I think if we thought like that just in everyday life, is somebody asking you to take off shackles to put on some different shackles? Like, oh, I'm gonna take off the rusty shackles, but I'm gonna give you some gold ones. You're still in fucking shackles. So that, the first time I watched it, when, you know, Annie made Smoke promise to kill her, I was like, okay, that makes sense, because when she was explaining vampirism. But when it happened and Mary and Stack reacted like that, I was confused. I was like, why did they react like that? And then on the second and third watch, it clicked for me. Mary, in her mind, wanted to be with Stack. She couldn't be with Stack because she was a white woman. She had got married, you know what I'm saying? But what vampirism gave her the thing to do is that they could be together in vampirism. They could live forever, they could be together. So when she turned Stack, Stack's only mission was to be with his brother again, and it was to turn him. So when Stack bit Annie, he knew that, okay, he loved Annie so much that at this point he gonna come and be with us. So that when he kept saying, I'm not doing this without you. The best part of me, when they thought Stack was dead, and Smoke said the best part of me is him, which was tearing my heart up, right? Because my brother passed away. So when Smoke did it, and Mary screamed like that, I was like, why did she scream like that? But then it clicked, because she thought that they were all going to live happily ever after and be a family. But Annie said, no, you free my spirit, because I want to experience real freedom. See, Mary and Stack thought that they were free, but you're not free. You're still trapped under the will of somebody else, right? And so when he did that, at first I was like, why is she screaming? Why is she acting like that? Why he acting like that? Because he thought that was going to be a way that he gets to be with his brother forever. And she thought that was going to, and Mary thought that was going to be a way all four of them get to be together forever as vampires. But Smoke and Annie, not Stack, had a completely different agenda of what they wanted to do. So for me, watching that, and like also the bond of siblings, which I'll touch on. I don't want to make this too long, but y'all, I'm so excited. I love movies and films so much. So, where was I? So yeah, that's why I was like, the symbolism of Mary screaming, and even when they was doing the two twins was doing the fight scene, he was like, "Well, I had it all worked out. What you have to go and kill Annie for?" He had it all worked out. I kill Annie, and that's why Annie, when he bit her, she said, "Not you." He said, "I had it all worked out because I'm gonna bite Annie. You ain't gonna be able to live without Annie, so you gonna let Annie bite you, and then we all gonna be together." But that no, because when you have morals, when you have integrity, when you really know what it is, set me free to real freedom, not this fake freedom that you think this white vampire man is gonna give you, because you can't get it that way. You can't get it that way. You cannot get freedom that way. And so that was the thing. And so then we see the ending, which is powerful. The power in that ending in the water, where he keeps dunking Sammy like baptism. And Sammy starts to recite the Lord's Prayer, and he starts to recite it back to him, because I know it too. And when he says, "In that men who came and took over my land," colonization, because the Irish were colonized, "gave me those words too. And in times of hurt, they gave me comfort." But it's a lie. It's so... that whole scene, the symbolization, and then as the light, because darkness cannot thrive in the light. I know it's cliche, I know, but it's true. It's true. If I ain't learned nothing in 32 years, it's true. And so as the light comes up and we see him like, and everybody else disintegrating, you cannot... the light is going to reveal it every time. And that's what I got from that. And also, one last thing before I touch on like the sibling part of the film and how that part touched me, was the negotiation of the film. Everything's a negotiation, which brings me back to the capitalism part of the film, which a lot of people aren't talking about, right? Everything was a negotiation. It was a negotiation with Delta Slam. It was he was teaching the little girl at the beginning how to negotiate. It was negotiation in the store. That's all America is, negotiating. You need to know how to negotiate what's best for you. That's all it is. He made a negotiation with his brother at the end. When we see at the end, he made me promise to leave you alone and let you live out your life. That was a negotiation. I won't kill you, and you can go and be with Mary and live out your days forever as a vampire, as somebody who can never see the sun, and you will never have me again. We will never have each other again. And you leave him alone, or I kill you. That was a negotiation. And Stack said, "I'll leave him alone," right? Also, what somebody said was, if Smoke didn't kill Stack, Smoke waited at the sawmill for the clan. Somebody said that when Stack got out, he had to see Smoke. He had to see Smoke's body. I don't know, because vampires can fly. Maybe he flew out, maybe he flew away. Who knows, right? But that was like something I seen that I was like, that's interesting. So the last tip that I want to talk about with this amazing movie, who has inspired me beyond repair, is in Ryan's last two movies, which was Black Panther and this movie, the closeness of siblings is there. And as someone who lost their brother, I was very close to my brother. I remember watching Black Panther, like, I can't deal with this shit right now. And then watching this movie, and I'm always sad. I'm always, in my feelings about losing my brother. But it really brought up how abound sibling love is, and how nothing can come between it. Because we saw, even, you know what I'm saying, in their fight scene, it's like something, they were still connected, which is crazy, because it's like they were still connected. Like, because he could have lied. He could have not kept that promise. But it's like, even the vampirism, him being a vampire, could not take away the amount of love he had for his brother. And at the end, when he's talking to big older Sammy, and he says, the last time I seen the sun was the last time I saw my brother. Picked me up and carried me out the goddamn theater. It was just really, really good. It really, really spoke to, you know, my grief and what I feel in that sense. And I think that it was just a beautiful, you know, outside of the horror and the comedy and all the themes and how deep it was, just the relationship that Smoke and Stack had as brothers, as siblings. And when he said, the best thing about me is him, like, you know, the best thing about me was my brother. And I felt that, and I loved how that kinship, that brotherhood was so there. And like, I just love, this was a phenomenal, phenomenal film. Ryan Coogler, in my eyes, is one of the best filmmakers of our time. I don't think he has missed. I think in every movie, he makes sure to prop up Blackness and the Black experience in America. And I, as someone who wants to do that with my work, as someone who tries to put themes in my work that make people think, it gives me hope. This is a movie that was 2 hours and 17 minutes. And it's been #1 in the box office for 2 weeks. That means people's attention spans aren't as short as we think. And it definitely gives me hope. And as I'm going through this new transition in my life, right, y'all haven't seen me in a while. Like, I'm posting this on this YouTube, and it's like, girl, the last time we seen you was in your web series. I have, you know, not been doing my work. And if anything, the Movie Center's taught me is that you got to do your work. I don't know what's going to happen with the work. I don't know if y'all are going to watch it. I don't know if y'all are going to enjoy it, but I'm just going to do my work, you know. So this was my Sinners review. If you made it to the end, I fucks with you. If you didn't, I get it. This is like 30 something minutes. I'm a yapper. I'm a talker. I'm long-winded. Yeah. Go see Sinners if you have it. Like I said, I've seen it 3 times. I cannot wait till it comes. I want the DVD. I want the vinyl on the soundtrack. Also, the soundtrack. That last time with Alice Smith. First of all, Alice Smith is one of my favorite. Oh my God, her voice. That last time, the young Preacher Boy, his first movie. I could talk to y'all about Sinners all day. Yeah. But like this video, comment on this video, subscribe to the channel. I will be posting more takes behind the scenes of pre-production if you're interested in that. So please, yes, support me. I'm begging you. Support me. Make me the biggest. I want to be Ryan Coogler. Make me the biggest film star, producer, director in the world. But yes, thank you guys. Peace. Subscribe, like, comment, thumbs up, all of that.